And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I am your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, and as always, it's great to have you guys here on this fine Friday. So, of course, we have a lot to discuss on today's show, but before that, I just want to remind you guys, for donations and tips and to get your comments recognized, make sure to go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show. And then for bonus coverage materials that are not covered by this live broadcast, make sure to go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network. So with that, let's get right into the rundown for today's show. So obviously, no games again today. We have to wait another day because obviously everything got finalized on Wednesday. There was no Game 3s yesterday. But we will go through the latest news and headlines around the league. There's some stuff to talk about regarding the Mets, of course, news that came out yesterday in their front office. Then we will get into impending free agents whose stock can rise from this postseason. So I'll go through that because there was an article that MLB came out with that I thought was interesting. So we'll go over that. We'll dive into the free agents that they're talking about. And then for the final two parts of the show, we'll go through the American League side of things, the division series. With those two games, we'll preview them, and I'll give my thoughts on that. I kind of went into it yesterday, but we'll continue that discussion today. And then I'll do the same thing with the National League to conclude the show. So that's pretty much the rundown for today. So let's get right into the first part of the show, which is discussing, some headlines. So some stuff with the Mets. Billy Epler, their general manager, decided to step down from his position. And, I was watching the Michael Kay show and they were talking about it. It just seems like now that the Mets brought in David Stearns over from the Brewers to be the president of baseball operations, it seemed like Billy Epler really was going to have to answer to him. And, they were basically saying, like, yeah, he basically just left because he's like, oh, so I basically have no power whatsoever and I only answer to you. And that's why he decided to leave and step down as general manager. So he's not going to be a part of the Mets anymore. I guess Met fans are happy about that. And it's just kind of funny because, he traded away all these guys. The Mets, obviously, they said to themselves they didn't really seem like they were contenders, so they decided to trade away guys like Tommy Pham, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, who are all currently in the playoffs still. And now he's gone. So, and David Stearns, it's basically going to be up to him now, I guess, to kind of reconstruct this team and get this team back on track. So, and also another thing that I saw too is apparently there's a report out there, it's a rumor, that Buck Showalter has some interest in taking the Angels job with Phil Nevin not returning as the manager there. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what the Angels are going to look like next year because there's going to be most likely no Ohtani. They could look to move Mike Trout. So I don't know what's appealing about that job. Unless, if both players come back, then there's the appeal right there. But if I'm Buck Showalter and those guys are not on the team next year, I wouldn't really want to manage that team. But then again, he might just be looking for, I don't know what his intentions are. He could just be looking for, another job, and he'll take whatever. So, but that was something I saw right before I got on as well. And obviously, the Mets, they're going to be looking for a new manager. There's rumors that it could be, Craig Counsell's name has been thrown around, but nothing is definite. He could stay with Milwaukee. So, but yeah, so that's the news there. Also, more stuff with the teams that got eliminated. So I saw a TikTok video, and it was of I guess it was a news network that has some affiliation with the Blue Jays, and the guy was basically talking about how uh, the Blue Jays, the analytics, and it's not John Schneider's fault that. Well, he actually did say John Schneider should be fired because he was the last line of defense. Because it all goes back to the manager and the role that they have now. They don't have as much of a say as they used to. It's more of a collaborative effort between them and the front office. And he said that John Schneider should be fired or should be gone because he was the last line of defense when it came to that decision of taking Jose Barrios out of the game against the Twins. And yeah, I mean, listen, everybody on social media, Blue Jays fans, like they want him gone. They want the general manager gone. And yeah, I mean, he was saying that the pitching staff for the Blue Jays is a World Series pitching staff. And he's right. Jose Barrios had great stuff. Chris Bassett, Kevin Gausman. I mean, the rotation's very good. It's just the Blue Jays could not get anything going offensively. And they were inches away from having a bases clearing double that would have changed the course of the series, really, against the Twins. But that didn't happen, and Matt Chapman ended up grounding into a double play. Also, they talked. He questioned the leadership of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. Now, again, I'm not. I don't know how it is in the clubhouse. I don't really know. And I'm not, an expert on the Blue Jays, of course. I mean, I'm just seeing what's on the surface. I'm only able to scratch what's on the surface, but for Blue Jays fans, let me know what you guys think about those two guys. Is it right to question their leadership? And there's going to be a lot of question marks going into the offseason for the Blue Jays. Some guys are not going to be coming back, and they seem to have it again. They seem to be having the problem that the Yankees are having. These teams have a lot of talent, but it just seems like, and it's what Aaron Judge said the other day. Maybe they're looking at the wrong numbers. So maybe these teams are looking at the wrong numbers because the Blue Jays are kind of built the same way the Yankees are. Not a lot of left-handed hitters, a lot of sluggers, good pitching. Well, Blue Jays pitching was better than the Yankees outside of Garrett Cole by himself. But the Blue Jays collectively as a pitching staff, you would take them over the Yankees rotation at the moment because of all the duds that the Yankees had in the rotation this year. Carlos Rodon and just injuries in general. So, but yeah, I mean they got a lot of similarities. And the Rays, I mean, they always have good regular seasons, but they just can't seem to get it done in the postseason, and that's why I really did not have them going far in the playoffs at all. Is because, it's same thing, different year. But I just thought that was interesting to come across that because with the Blue Jays, because it was very adamant about what happened with the Blue Jays. So yeah, but that's really it when it comes to some of the headlines that I was looking at. Obviously, I talked about the Diamondbacks extending their general manager yesterday. So nothing really major at the moment. Obviously, Yamamoto, the Japanese pitcher, the Mets are one of the top teams that are targeting him. They're going to give him whatever he wants to try to get him to come to the Mets because the Mets right now have no rotation. But I think there's 10 teams in on him. The Yankees, I know, are in on him. I mean, all the big market teams, I'm assuming, are going to be trying to get him. But, listen, it might come down to whoever offers him the biggest contract. And the Mets definitely have the opportunity to do that because based on their owner. But, listen, I'm hoping my team is able to get him because we need another pitcher. Obviously, the lineup is a concern. But we need another starter because right now we got question mark. They got question marks in the rotation, the Yankees. So, but that was another thing that I didn't mention. So he's he's going to be teams are going to pursue him heavily, and we'll see what happens, and we'll be covering that within the coming months. Winter meetings, and I can't talk today for some reason. But yeah, and obviously I just want to remind you guys. So going forward, once again, this show, the baseball podcast, is just going to be on Fridays now. I will be starting the GSMC football podcast on Monday. That'll be Monday through Friday. And then Fridays I'll double up. I'll do the football podcast first, and then I'll do the baseball. So this is the final Friday of the full week of the baseball podcast, and then obviously next week I will be switching over to football. But baseball podcast will still be around. Still got the shorts on YouTube, so make sure to check that out. And yeah, so that's pretty much the news on that front. We also got a chat from Valvez BTW. I hope I pronounced that right. He's just saying what's up to him. But yeah, that's basically the news when it comes to the going forward for next week. So just keep an eye on that. But like I said, we'll still have content coming out for it every single day, just not the full hour live stream and then the Patreon. That's gonna be down to one day, which is definitely a big difference. But obviously there's a lot going on. But next week I'll be doing the football, so make sure to tune in for that. But I just wish there were games yesterday to go over, but when it comes to baseball. But like I said, gotta wait another day, and we'll see how this weekend goes. Really looking forward to them. We got all 4 games on Saturday. Starting off with the Rangers and the Orioles, which I think, to me, that is the series I'm most excited for, because I don't know. I think those teams. I mean, that series and the Braves and the Phillies. Those two series are the best ones, and like I said yesterday, I think and those are the 1 seeds. I think they're on upset alert. I really do. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like I said yesterday, the Phillies, they beat the Braves last year in the playoffs, and the Rangers, I just feel like they have the best chance to knock off one of the teams that were on a bye, for these playoffs. But like I always say, we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think, though. What series are you most excited for? And yeah, so that's pretty much it when it comes to the first part of the show. So when we come back from our first break, we are going to discuss the impending free agents that are still in the postseason, and whose stock can rise. Based off of what they do in these playoffs. So that'll be the second part of the show when we get back from our first break. So we'll take it right now. So like I just said, stick around, and when we come back, we will talk about the free agents whose stock can rise from their postseason performances. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to discuss some free agents whose stock can rise in the postseason. So so MLB came out with an article, and it basically just talked about 13 players that are going to be free agents, and based off of what they do in the postseason, their stock is going to be heavily impacted by that. So I thought that was interesting and something to talk about, especially because we didn't have any games yesterday. So I thought, hey, we could do that for today. So the first player that they listed was Aaron Nola, starting pitcher for the Phillies, and so far he's gotten off to a great start. Had a solid start against the Marlins. Now, he's a guy that's kind of frustrating. I had him in fantasy one year as well. One of the more inconsistent pitchers in baseball, because when he's on, he's great, but then when he's bad, he's bad. But like I said, so far he's gotten off to a good start. He pitched well in his final two starts of the regular season, and obviously, pitched very well against the Marlins. And he was good in October last year. I did look at his overall numbers last year, and he was good first part of the playoffs, the wild card series, and the division series. But then when you get to the championship series and the World Series, his numbers, his ERA went up. But listen, if he can go out and have a really good postseason again, and obviously continue, building off of what he just did the other day against the Marlins, there's teams out there that need starting pitching. I mean, listen, their rivals, the Mets, need pitching. And I just talked about the Yankees, them needing pitching. That's just to name a few, or a couple. So if he goes out there and pitches well, team's going to want to get. I mean, teams are always looking for starting pitching. So he's just one that they listed. Also, Sonny Gray is up there as well with the Twins. Now, obviously, Sonny Gray in a big market did not do very well. With the Yankees, they got him from the A's, and he was not good. He just wasn't good. Wasn't built for it. So then he went to he was on the Reds, and he was better. I actually forgot and just reminded myself that he was on the Reds. And then he was, I think he was pretty good from what I remember. And then, with the Twins, I mean, he was a Cy Young candidate this year, and he pitched very well against the Blue Jays in the playoff game the other day. So, he's another guy that teams could be looking at to try to get, because once again, teams are always looking for starting pitching, and maybe he stays with the Twins. I mean, depending on what the Twins do, they got him and Pablo Lopez at the top. Joe Ryan as their third starter, because I guess he's going to be the guy that's going to pitch tomorrow. I saw the pitching matchups. Right on MLB, they're still not listed. I mean, I'll check CBS. I think I saw Verlander obviously going for the Astros in Game 1, and then Kershaw was going for the Dodgers. They had that listed on MLB. So, but CBS usually has it, so we'll have to check that out. But yeah, Sonny Gray has looked very good this year. I mean, yeah, he's going to finish top 5 in the Cy Young this year in the American League. So, we'll see what happens with him. He's finishing up a deal that paid him over $42 million over the last 4 years. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, now he's 33 years old. I mean, that's crazy. I just remember him playing in the division series against the Tigers, in 2012. I mean, that just seems like forever ago. And now, now he's almost in his mid-30s, which is crazy. And I just started middle school during that series. So, and then they have another starting pitcher, former Yankee, and that would be Jordan Montgomery. So he was another trade acquisition from the trade deadline. Rangers got him from the Cardinals. So Montgomery's been, traded the last 2 trade deadlines now. The Yankees traded him for Harrison Bader, and then, of course, Rangers were able to get him from the Cardinals. And obviously he's played an important role because, with Scherzer getting hurt and just Evaldi getting hurt as well. So really just injuries in general to their starting rotation. He's played a big role. And listen, I thought the Rays were going to take Game 1, and he shut them down. He really did a great job. And that's really who it's going to be. It's going to be him, Evaldi, Dunning. That's who they got to lean on with Scherzer being out, and of course, even before that with DeGrom being out too. So, but that was definitely a very beneficial trade for the Rangers. Because he's a big part of why they moved on, and again, he continues, building off of that start, and he pitches well here in this series against the Orioles. Teams are gonna. That's gonna make teams very interested. So, I think teams are already interested regardless of what happens. But, and he went 4-2 with a 2.79 ERA in 11 starts after joining the Rangers. So those are good numbers. And he's going to be a free agent for the first time in his career. So, he's going to decide. And teams are going to want to. Teams are definitely going to be interested. So maybe he goes back to the Yankees. No, I don't think that's happening. But yeah, he's just. That's another pitcher. Craig Kimbrell, another notable name for the Phillies, and he's bounced around so much since being with the Braves. I mean, he was. Let's see if I can. So he was with the Padres. The Padres got him. He was with the Cubs. He was with the Red Sox. He's with the Dodgers, and he was with the Phillies. I don't know if am I missing any. Oh, White Sox. White Sox he was with. I think I named every team. So yeah, he's been bounced around a lot. So now he's a free agent. He was an all-star this year. Obviously he's older now. He's 35 years old, but I think he's still going to have a market. Teams are still going to be interested in him, and who knows? Phillies could bring him back. But he's another notable name. I mean, there are teams that need closers. And, sometimes he's, a little erratic with his command. We've seen that over the years. But, I think he's still a guy that, if you need bullpen help, he's a guy that teams are definitely going to go after. So that's another player. Hector Neris for the Astros, another bullpen piece. Again, teams that need bullpen help, are definitely going to try to get him to sign with their team. Of course, he's one of their top relief pitchers for the Astros. So, again, the Astros could try to bring him back as well, but he's definitely going to be somebody that teams are going to want to get. And obviously, if you're playing for the Astros or the defending champs, I mean, you want to try and get some of the players from them to better your team. And So, but no matter who leaves the Astros, it doesn't matter because they just continue to, have good seasons. I mean, this year was a little bit of a down season, but they're just a machine. They just keep going. They lose pieces, but they just keep on going. It doesn't even matter. So, but Hector Neris, he's another guy that was listed as well. Kyle Gibson for the Orioles had a rough August. It says here it is 7.89 ERA in 5 starts, but he did well in September, 2.45 ERA in his final 5 starts. So yeah, he signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Orioles last offseason. And, listen, I think if you need like a back of the rotation guy, he could be somebody that you go after. And again, like I keep saying, there are teams that need starting pitching. So he could definitely be somebody that, teams try to get for a cheap deal. So, so it actually says this will be his first starting assignment in the postseason. So last year with the Phillies, he pitched in relief. So he made 3 career relief appearances. And, listen, the Orioles really need him. Jack Flaherty's also another pitcher on this list. So listen, I mean, those are going to be key components to the Orioles' playoff success, is their starting rotation. Now, I think, I want to say Bradish is going to start game one, but I don't know. We'll have to see because he's been solid for them. And he also Dean Kramer. I think he has 13 wins on the season now, so he's been solid for them too. But yeah, Kyle Gibson and Jack Flaherty, the veterans. I mean, if they go out and pitch well for the Orioles and get them far in the playoffs, I mean, teams are going to want to, sign them too. So also another guy, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. You know who should try to get him back? The Blue Jays, because of the trade they made with the Diamondbacks before the year started. And yeah, he was an all-star. He had a career high 24 home runs. Listen, he's going to be a guy that if teams are looking for an outfielder, and based off of the season that he's had, he's going to be a top, well, not a top free agent target, but he's going to be Blue Jays, like I said. They should try to get him back. This is their opportunity too. They got Aroldis Chapman listed. I mean, listen, for me, I would stay away. But hey, listen, he pitched a clean inning the other day for the Rangers, so, and he was able to reach 103 miles per hour this year again, I think. So, I mean, you take a chance on him, but I don't know if I'd want him to be my closer. But then again, that's just kind of Yankee bias talking. So, Kike Hernandez, a utility guy can play the infield and the outfield. Somebody that you could use. Has been a productive player, but that's just another guy that's also listed as well. Also, Lance Lynn is listed. Michael A. Taylor. Outfield help. Lance Lynn pitched better with the Dodgers. After it was going rough for him. With the White Sox this year. So, again, pitching help. That's somebody that teams could look at. Also, Pierce Johnson for the Braves is another guy that they have listed. So, yeah, that's, again, pitching help. So, that's basically everybody that was listed when it came to that. A lot of these players are definitely going to be switching teams. I mean, they're going to want to get paid. I mean, if Jordan Montgomery, Sonny Gray, they go out and continue to have great postseasons, I mean, they're going to want to go to and get a big contract. So, we'll have to see what happens. But, obviously we'll find out what we'll see what these guys do in the next round. So, but yeah, speaking of the next round, the division series we are now up to. When we come back from our second break of the show, we are going to preview both series in the American League Division Series side of things. So I'll talk about those. I know I talked about them a little bit yesterday, so we'll do that. And then for the final part of the show, we will get into the National League side of things. So, of course, we'll be covering the Rangers and the Orioles. We'll get into that. And then the Twins and the Astros. And both of those games are going to be on FS1/Fox. I don't know what specifically. I think MLB has it listed, but yeah, they'll be. But it's Fox. Yeah. So actually, both series will be on. So FS1. Fox will be for the championship series. So, but that's what we will do when we come back from our second break of the show. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are going to now preview the American League Division Series. So obviously, like I said before, we got the Rangers and the Orioles and the Twins and the Astros. So I actually just wanted to pull up the updated bracket here, because I know the other day I still kept the same one even with the series being over, but now we got the updated bracket. So obviously on the left side, is the American League. Right side is the National League. And, but I just wanted to pull that up, so it's not just, you looking at me the whole time. We got something to visually look at here. But again, I just wanted to remind everybody, as always, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Really helps the show. And then once again, for bonus coverage materials that are not covered by this broadcast, make sure to go to patreon.com and look up GSMC Sports Network, and that's where you can find all of our exclusive content. So let's get into the American League Division Series. So right now, at least on MLB, at bat, they don't have the starters listed. Like I said, it's just Kershaw and Verlander. But CBS usually has things listed. So if we go there, and let's see, do they have the starters listed yet? Okay, so right now it's looking to be Dunning against Bradish. So I did say I thought Bradish was going to start Game 1. So that's going to be the case. And then, you have Dunning in Game 1 going for the Rangers. So then on Sunday, if we can see that now. So Game 2, that's still Game 1. So Game 2, it looks like it's going to be Montgomery against Dean Kramer. And then, let's see. And then Tuesday, right now Evaldi is the one. So Evaldi's lined up for Game 3. So it looks like, so I'm guessing, so you got Kramer and Bradish going the first two games. And I'm guessing Game 3 is going to be either Flaherty or Kyle Gibson. So, but like I was saying, I feel like, listen, I have the Orioles going to the championship series, but I really do feel like Texas can upset the Orioles. I really do, and I keep saying it. I think this series can go. I think this series will go 5 games. And I don't want to disrespect the Orioles because they've had a great year. But I just feel like, for me personally, I don't know. I just like the Rangers in this series. I think it's going to go 5 games. Of course, the Orioles have a great young lineup. They're going to be without their closer, so that kind of hurts them. I don't know. I don't know. I just like Texas. I like Texas in this series. But we'll see what happens. Listen, the Orioles got home field advantage. I don't know, but we'll see what happens with that. I say right now Texas in 5, but listen, I had the Orioles going to the championship series, so but right now I feel like Texas is going to be the team that upsets the 1 seeds here. So that's my opinion on that. Now, Texas, again, you still got, some concerns with the bullpen. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll see how it plays out. It starts. So Game 1 is at 1:08 Eastern Time tomorrow. So you got that. Then on Sunday it'll be at 4:07 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday Game 3 will be at 8:03 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, if there's a Game 4, that'll be on Wednesday. And then Game 5 will be on Friday. So that's the schedule there for the division series when it comes to the Orioles and the Rangers. But that's the series. Listen, that's the series I'm most excited for. And the Orioles, listen, they got a good young lineup as well. But listen, if Texas plays how they did against the Rays, I mean, if Evan Carter continues to do well, they're young players, Josh Young, and then you got, of course, Adolis Garcia, Simeon, Corey Seager. I just like their team. I do. Now, I'd feel a lot better if they, now, of course, he wasn't pitching the best, but if they had Scherzer or DeGrom, that also, favors Texas even more. But, right now, Jordan Montgomery's got to go out there and Dunning and Evaldi. Those are your top 3 starters right there. And so far, they got off to a great start. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think this series has the potential to be the best series of the 4. So, and then obviously we get into the Astros and the Twins. So, first 2 games are going to be in Houston. Then the next 2, and obviously Game 4, if necessary, will be in Target Field. And then, if there's a Game 5, that'll be next Friday as well. That'll be in Houston. So Game 1, so it's going to be at 4:45 p.m. So right now it's Joe Ryan against Justin Verlander. Right now I give the edge to the Astros. I think the Astros win this game. I think the Astros win this series in 4 games. But can the Twins upset the Astros? Yeah, they can, because the Astros haven't been playing like themselves all year. They've had some rough patches. So, but I like the Astros to win Game 1 at home. But then again, we'll see what happens. Game 2, I guess it looks like it's going to be maybe, I guess, do they not have, okay, so right now they don't have any starters listed on CBS, so that doesn't help me. But then they have the starters for game 3, and it's Sonny Gray against Christian Javier. So Valdez is probably going to pitch for the Astros in Game 2. I would imagine that's going to happen. And then I guess maybe Pablo Lopez is Game 2. I guess. Maybe. So that might be what the pitching matchups are there. I don't know. I still like the Astros. I think they win the series in 4 games. I go with the experience. Listen, the Twins, outside of Royce Lewis in 1 inning, they really didn't do anything offensively. Now, their pitching is what can keep them in these games. And obviously, you also got Carlos Correa on the other side, so that always helps. But I don't know. I think right now, I still got to go with the Astros. That's I still have pretty much everybody that I picked winning their series, except the Orioles and the Rangers. I'm not confident in right now, but I think the Astros take the series in 4 games. But you know what? Again, props to the Twins. I mean, they had a losing streak that lasted for so long, when it came to the postseason. And, it obviously ended, and it was good for them. But now they're going up against the defending champs. And it's playoff time now. Listen, the regular season, it still factors in to an extent, but it's a whole new season now. So everything that happened in the regular season, obviously, when you look at the team, after just finishing the regular season, you're going to say, well, they got swept by the Royals. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals the week before that. But now it's the postseason, so that can all change, and they could play how they should play. But there's still some concerns with them, the pitching. But I think the Astros win this series, and they move on. And that could set up, a divisional matchup with the Rangers if, like I said, Rangers could move on. But I think there's going to be at least, but what I said yesterday was I think there's going to be at least one upset. I don't think it's going to be all the favorites moving on. Now, I said the team that's least likely to upset is the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, but then again, that could end up being the series that it ends up happening to, and then that it can happen, and then I end up getting that wrong. So, but let me know what you guys think. Who do you think? What team do you think has the biggest chance to upset their opponent for these division series games? Well, these series in general. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, Astros I think win in 4. I give the Twins at least one game, um, and I think the Orioles Rangers series is going to go 5 games. I just do. So, but they should both be interesting series. Like I said, I'm most excited for Rangers Orioles. I think these teams are evenly matched. Their lineups are both good. Some concerns with the rotation, although I kind of lean more towards Texas's rotation at the moment. Um, the way Montgomery pitched and how Evaldi's been in the postseason. Being a postseason, being one of the postseason heroes for the 2018 Red Sox. You know, so that's why I'd probably lean, more towards Texas when it comes to the rotation. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, both of these teams they went 3-3 against each other in the regular season. I talked about that yesterday. So this is the rubber match right here. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Texas capitalized on some mistakes by the Rays in Game 1. Are the Orioles going to do that? I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to commit 4 errors in a game. I don't see that happening. But you got a lot of young players that are inexperienced. So, I mean, anything is possible. But I don't think that's going to happen. Rays just played a very sloppy game. And listen, Camden Yards is going to be hosting a playoff game for the first time in a while, and that atmosphere is going to be incredible. It really is. So, and then we'll actually finally see playoff games in the Rangers' new ballpark too. Well, for the Rangers at least, because during the COVID season, that's where they played the championship series for the National League and the World Series. But now Texas is going to be playing home playoff games in their new stadium for the first time. So, we'll see how that goes. I mean, the atmospheres. I mean, postseason baseball is just it's different. It's different, and that's where you want to be, really. I mean, obviously, home field advantage plays a huge role. So we'll see how it is for this series. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the American League side of things. So obviously, in the next segment, we are going to touch upon now the National League side of things. We'll talk about the Dodgers and the Diamondback series, and then we'll also before that we'll talk about the Braves and the Phillies series, which that's I think that series and the Rangers and the Orioles, those are the two best series. That's how I would rank it. I would rank it. I mean, I guess like overall, you'd probably rank Braves, Phillies above Rangers, Orioles. Then those are the top two. Then I would say, maybe you put the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers ahead of Twins, Astros. So that's probably how I would rank them. As when talking about those 4 series. But listen, hopefully they're all good. Hopefully we don't get sweeps in every single series, which we won't, like we did in the first round. But we'll just have to. We'll see what happens. So that will be. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we will then talk about the National League side of things. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are now going to preview the National League Division Series, both series, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and Phillies, Braves. So a couple of division matchups in the National League. So, yeah, right now my sports group chat's getting blown up because we're talking about something regarding our Dynasty League. So... also thought my dog was going to start barking because anytime she hears people like talking outside, that's when she starts going crazy. So hopefully that doesn't happen. She's been good this whole week, so we're hoping that that continues. But yeah. So now let's open up the let's show the bracket again. So now I got to change the segments here. Obviously, I don't know if there's a way I could do it without showing without showing me do it, but changing the segment titles, but I don't know. So, but yeah, once again, got the bracket up again. So on the National League side of things, obviously Diamondbacks, they swept the series with the Brewers, and the Phillies swept the series with the Marlins, which sets up interesting matchups. Teams that know each other well. Dodgers and Braves, they went 8-5 against the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. So I mean, these series are going to be good. I think Phillies and Braves. That's the one everybody is going to focus on them more so. For me, like I said, I think the Diamondbacks are the team that's least likely to upset their opponent. But then again, the Dodgers have been upset in the past. The 2019 Nationals, they were able to do it. So, that's just one team that comes to mind. Padres, they upset them last year. So, yeah, I mean, those are just two examples. So the Diamondbacks can do it. They got the pitching. And I've liked how some of their players have gotten off to the starts that they've gotten off to in the postseason. Corbin Carroll, their rookie, he got off to a good start. So, I'm not going to say the Diamondbacks have no shot. They definitely have a shot. I just think they don't have the best shot. The other teams that are trying to pull off upsets, they have, I think, the better shot to do so. But we'll see what happens. With the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, I think that's another series that I think is going to go 4 games. I'm going to say the Diamondbacks get at least 1 game. But then again, I mean, I talked about this, is the the pitching rotation concerns, because obviously you got Clayton Kershaw, who he's got his struggles in the postseason, his past struggles, and he's older now, and obviously outside of him the rotation is kind of a little bit thin. Bobby Miller is going to be a guy that's going to get a start. Lance Lynn is going to be starting. Kershaw, his overall numbers in the postseason in 38 games, he's 13-12 with a 4.22 ERA. The WHIP is at 1.08, and he had a nice regular season: 13-5, 2.46 ERA. I mean, and his career regular season record is just unreal: 210 and 92. That's his win-loss record, and then he has a 2.48 ERA. I mean, what else can we say about the guy? First ballot Hall of Famer, But obviously they've dealt with some injuries, and guys have left. I mean, Dustin May and Walker Buehler, those guys are out for right now, so they're not going to have them. And like I said, you got Bobby Miller, and then you have Lance Lynn as well. So that's probably what the rotation is going to be. So I mean, you kind of like the Diamondbacks' chances based off of that, and also because of Kershaw's struggles. So game 1, it looks like it's going to be Kelly against Kershaw. So obviously Kelly didn't pitch in the series against the Brewers, because the Diamondbacks were able to get it done in 2 games. So that's a good pitching matchup right there. Then we go to, the next time they play each other. So it's going to be on Monday. So game 2, it looks like it's going to be Zach Gallen against Bobby Miller. So again, that could be another good pitching matchup. Bobby Miller finished with a 11-4 record with a 3.76 ERA. So yeah, I think that's a good pitching matchup there. And then game 3, right now we got Lance Lynn. So I would assume that Fought is going to start. But again, we'll see what happens. That's not confirmed right now. There's no pitchers lined up for the Diamondbacks. But that's how the Dodgers have their rotation set up. So you know what? I mean, I give the Diamondbacks a good shot. I do, but I just think that the Dodgers lineup, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, J.D. Martinez having a bounce back season, Max Muncy. I just think the Dodgers are just a better team. It's kind of like what I was saying with the Marlins and the Phillies. I just think the Dodgers are a better team, and I think they should win this series. Now, I give the Diamondbacks a good chance. I think it's going to go 4 games. I'll give them at least 1 game, but I think ultimately the Dodgers are going to be the team that moves on. And, but again, Diamondbacks, if they get knocked out, I mean, they had a good season. They had a few rough patches as well. But, you know what, they're going to build off of this. They got some good young players, good starting pitching. So, you know what, this team's only going to get better. But we'll see. We'll see what happens from the series. Now we get to the, I guess you want to call it David versus Goliath matchup. And that's the Phillies and the Braves. Now, the Braves have had an historic season. Ronald Acuna Jr. with his season, 40-plus home runs, 70-plus stolen bases. And then you got Matt Olson hitting 50-plus home runs. The Braves, they should win this series. But it's going to be really tough. It's going to be tough. The Phillies, they have a great lineup. Their lineup is loaded. Again, you give the slight edge to the Braves. And you know what? The Braves have some, they have, injuries to their rotation. Because right now, it looks like the starting pitchers are going to be Spencer Strider against Ranger Suarez, which you kind of figure that's what the matchup, you kind of figure that's who the Phillies were going to send out, just because, you had Nolan Wheeler just pitch. So that's going to be game 1. So again, I mean, game 1's critical for the Phillies to win, because you got your third best starter going out there. But, they were able to hit Spencer Strider last year in the postseason. Right now they have no game 2 starter on Monday. So, you kind of figure it. I'm guessing it'd be Wheeler, and then Nola would pitch game 3 on Wednesday. So right now they don't. I just hate that they don't have starters listed, but that's how it is at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, listen, the Phillies with their lineup, I think they could keep up with the Braves, of course. Obviously, the Phillies, I know they wish they had Rhys Hoskins in the series, but they got Trey Turner, Castellanos, Harper, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto. That lineup is very good. And did I say Schwarber? I don't even remember. But yeah, that's just, they could keep up with the Braves offense. With Acuna, Olsen, Albies, Ozuna, Austin Riley. That series I think is going to go 5 games. I'm going to say that series goes 5 games. But I'm going to say the Braves, they take it. Also because it's my World Series pick, and it's pretty. Obviously it's not. It's a popular opinion, of course, but I just think it's the. I think it's the Braves' year, and I think this is where they get it done. But this series is going to be tough. It's division rivals. These teams know each other well. And the Phillies got great home field advantage. They really do. Because, listen, you go back to Philly tied at 1-1, and that's exactly what happened last year. It could end up being the end for the Braves again. But we'll just have to wait and see. But it should be a great series. So both of those National League Division Series, so both of those are going to be on TBS. Actually, no. Oh, wait. Okay. MLB kind of glitched when I just opened it. So Phillies and Braves, that's going to be on at 6:07 Eastern Time on TBS. Dodgers will be on at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time, also on TBS. Then Game 2 of those series will be on Monday, Phillies and Braves, 6:07 p.m. Eastern Time. And Diamondbacks, Dodgers, 9:07 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Monday. Again, both on TBS. And then right now the times are to be determined. So, at least on MLB. But yeah, so once again, TBS will have the National League side of things. Fox and FS1, they will have the American League side of things as they continue to do their flip-flop year after year. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Phillies can upset the Braves? What series are you most excited for? Let me know. Try to get to the comments, of course. I just heard my dog bark. So she heard something. Yeah, I mean, it should be a good weekend, and really looking forward to the games. Like I said, I think we're going to get at least one upset. I think that's just bound to happen, so we'll see. I mean, if it ends up being the Braves, I mean, that's just going to be a huge disappointment, especially with the kind of seasons that, some of their players have had, and you have the MVP, and you have the runner-up for MVP, basically, in the National League. Well, one of the runner-ups, because, on the Dodgers side, they're going to have the runner-ups for MVP with, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. So, but yeah, ultimately, I picked the Astros, the Orioles, the Braves, and the Dodgers. That I said was going to be the championship series, but I think it might be Rangers Astros. But we'll see. Again, gotta watch the games, and crazy things are going to happen. We know that. And I continue to say how baseball is just unpredictable. So, but it should be good. It should be a fun weekend. And then obviously that'll carry over into next week. And I won't be recapping. I mean, those series are going to be over by the time, or almost over, by the time I talk baseball with you guys next week. Because like I said, this is we got a week gap, in between this and the next show. Now, again, I'll continue to do the YouTube shorts. So those will be out every single day, but the show is now going to be reduced to one day, and now my dog is barking louder. So as we're getting close to wrapping up here, but yeah. So there's going to be a week gap between now and the next show. So, by then we'll have a clearer picture on what the championship series could look like, and see how right or wrong I am. Which, listen, I'm leaning towards maybe being wrong, because I feel like for the most part, whenever I make a prediction, it doesn't go right. I mean, the National League side of things, I was right. The American League, yeah, not so much. I had faith in my AL East team, compadres, but that just wasn't the case. They both scored a combined 2 runs, the Blue Jays and the Rays. So now, would the Yankees have done any better? I don't know. I just want to show you guys, for everybody that's in the chat. So this is my phone case right now. It's a Yankee phone case, and it basically symbolizes the deterioration of the Yankees, as their season just slowly fell apart. So I just wanted to show you guys that. But yeah, that's basically it for today's show. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Enjoy the games. Again, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to our channels. I'm working on getting yesterday's show the broken down segments posted, the 4 parts. So make sure to go check that out. That'll be out at some point today. And that's pretty much it. So that is all the time that we have for today. I thank you guys for watching. Once again, make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and a like to the video. And I'll try to get to all the comments as best as I can. So until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day. And I will see you guys on Monday for the GSMC Football Podcast. But I will see you guys, for the baseball people, I will see you guys next Friday. Take care and enjoy the weekend and enjoy the games.